All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all glory, honor, and praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostle elders, the great millstone who rule well. And salutation to all you brothers out there pushing this word in love, truth, sincerity, and humility. Once again, it's the brother Shot there from the Chicago camp, coming back to you with what I hope is another quick and edifying sit down. And this video just happened to pop up on my TikTok feed, but this woman said something very interesting that you can definitely see happening to the nation of Edom, all right? The so-called white man, the wild man. So I'm going to let this video play and we'll get some scripture.
This is a big deal that ICE killed a white woman, not because her life matters more than the countless black and brown people ICE has killed and detained and terrorized for decades. Her life doesn't matter more, but her death breaks through a protection most white people didn't even know they had. For years, white Americans could tell themselves that this ICE violence only happened to those people, to immigrants, to the undocumented, somebody else's problem. But when ICE kills a white U.S. citizen, that distance evaporates real quick. She was not undocumented. She wasn't breaking the law. She was just there. And now she's dead. And when you build a machine designed to terrorize people without any accountability, eventually it doesn't discriminate anymore. It just destroys. And the media suddenly cares because she's white. When ICE kills black and brown people, when they rip families apart, when they die in a detention center, it gets buried. A paragraph in local news if we're lucky, but when a white woman dies, it's a national headline. The racism in that disparity is staggering. Her death isn't any more tragic, it's just more visible. And here's what makes it even harder to sit with. Most white women voted for Trump. They voted for this administration that weaponized ICE and made the cruelty all happen, that turned human beings into profit margins. They voted for the system. And now it's killed one of their own. Immigrant communities have been trying to warn everyone for a decade now. They've been living this nightmare while being told that they deserved it, that they should have just come here legally, that this was somehow justice. And it wasn't justice. It was always terror. And it's finally touching people who they thought were exempt. Maybe that's what it takes, not because white lives matter more, but because some people only learn when the pain reaches their own doorstep. If this death finally makes people see what's happening all along, not just to immigrants, but to all of us living under systems designed to control and extract, then maybe something shifts. Not because she deserved to die or be the one that mattered, but because her death might be the crack that breaks this whole thing open. This is the end of ICE giving a single fuck. All bets are off. They've been off. They've been doing this for years. But now they're not even pretending. They do not give a shit. This is what happens when we're giving bounties to a bunch of fucking losers who get a job where they can terrorize people with unchecked power and a bonus. Let me be super clear. ICE exists to make rich people richer. ICE exists to terrorize working people. ICE exists to ethnically cleanse the United States.
Hey, the woman told no lies. Okay, that was the thing that really stood out, is that you have what appears to be an Edomite looking woman basically saying that the veil of protection that Edomites had, it's going away. Okay, because you have to realize that during the peak of Bad Uncle Esau's Edomite supremacy, okay, this man and his woman went untouched. Okay, they were able to do and say the most heinous things with impunity. Okay, despite Jake's best efforts to try to clear their name and to profess their innocence of the situation, they would still get railroaded. And see, this is what created the mentality of how, when we say, what's that, Psalm 73, where it says that they're not in trouble as other men? All right, Psalm 73:1. And it says, truly, God is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone. My steps had well nigh slipped. Okay, meaning that King David, he kind of had a moment, like all of us Jakes do. You know, when we grew up in life and we see the blatant disparity in treatment from us to even other nations. You know, how much more bad Uncle Esau? It says, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. Why? Because for there is no bands in their death, but their strength is firm. Why? Because their strength is the law. When you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 2nd chapter, I believe that's the 8th verse. I could be wrong. No, it's the 11th verse. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing worth. And that's how this man has treated us ever since he got back into power. Okay, from the time of the Renaissance. And because of this reason, his nation of people have been able to walk around unchecked. They've been able to comfortably live in the delusion that, as the woman said, it's happening to them. They're not us, so they deserve it. This is justice. Okay, it says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. Violence covereth them as a garment. It says their eyes stand out with fatness. They have more than their heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Yeah, like I just said. They're immigrants. They didn't come here illegally. So they deserve everything that's happening to them. They deserve to have their homes broken into, their businesses shut down. Okay, they deserve to be in detention camps with bad Uncle Esau doing God knows what. And this is to the men. Okay. It says, they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. This is how many Edomites were able to live during the peak of bad Uncle Esau's so-called era of white supremacy, which is really Edomite supremacy. But we're coming into the point of Deuteronomy, the 30th chapter and the 7th verse, where it says, and Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thy enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. And what's one of those curses? See, now you got Edomites on TikTok talking about how, what's the one where they said, thou shalt have no assurity of thy life, something like that. 29 is good, but I'm trying to find the one that talks about how we won't have any type of surety of our life. It's going to always hang in the balance of not knowing if you're going to live or die each day. Yep, this is it. Deuteronomy 28 and 65. And it says, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease. And I'm sure that word ease probably goes into rest or comfort. But let me get that just to be on the safe side. Okay, now my internet acting funny. Yep. Guy. It says to rest or repose. Be at rest or repose. Settle, quiet, give rest. To give rest to rest, repose. All right. It says in the Strong's definition, find ease. Okay. Rest, make suddenly. So, yeah. So it's saying among these nations, we're not going to have any type of rest. Let me read that again. Among these nations, thou shalt find no ease, no rest, no comfort. Neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling of heart and failing of eyes and sorrow of mind, and thy life shall hang in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. And see, it's not like this devil hasn't been smacking up and abusing and shooting Edomite women. But the thing is, when it came from them being exempt from like blatant, like horrible crimes that the government is doing to people, no, it's no more immunity. Now these curses are falling upon the Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the wild man. All right. I saw one interview where this chick was protesting about what happened in Venezuela. Okay. Cops arrested her on the spot. And now you got this situation with the woman in Minneapolis. She got popped 3 times in the face in broad daylight. We saw a live execution, real time, 4K. We saw a live execution on all social media sites. Just, and that's not justice. Because I did another sit down and I said the worst part about it is that this guy has immunity, because Trump said that ICE agents have complete immunity, and I believe they only answer to, who was it, Trump, Vance, and Kristi Noem. I might be wrong about Kristi Noem, but I believe for sure Vance and Trump. And now you have many so-called white Americans looking at this incident like, holy shit, they just murdered a woman right in front of us on all social media platforms, and she wasn't even doing anything wrong, and they tried to lie and cover it up. So if they're gonna do this right in front of us, right in front of our face, what hope or what protection do we have in this environment that's teetering on civil unrest? How will we be able to function? How do we continue to enjoy the benefits of what we used to have for hundreds of years? How can we still preserve it? And the answer is you can't. As many people have stated in their videos on Instagram and TikTok, the laws that you meant to oppress one people have come back and now hurt you. Because when it was only hurting Jakes, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, everything was fine. Not realizing the long game. In the long game of the elites is absolute world domination, where they are in absolute control and everybody else is in subjugation. See, many of these Edomites didn't realize that their end would be shameful and filled with disgrace and horror and punishment, just as they did to other people. And now people are seeing this is not good. Because if they're so bold to do this to a so-called white woman who is supposed to have immunity, what is going to be the end for us? So that's all I wanted to say on this. I hope you all were edified. So the next time we're going to say Shalom.